crew for tonight's game. Behind the plate, Dan Henry. Manning first base, Joe Peters. And over at third, Mickey Garcia. We'll have pregame festivities in just a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to tonight's game between the Falmouth Commodores and the Bourne Braves. The sun might not be out, but we still have Cape Cod baseball here tonight. Throwing out the first pitch tonight is Benjamin Doak. Ben hails from Milton, Mass. and is a rising 7th grader. Ben has loved the game of baseball since he first picked up a bat. He attended clinics with the Commodores and enjoys coming to games with his family every summer. 2 years ago, Ben was diagnosed with a rare bone disease in his hip called Perthes disease. After several surgeries and lots of hard work, Ben battled his way back to playing baseball. His family is so proud of his perseverance. With Ben and his family tonight is Ben's friend, Bobby Nomas, whom he met at T-ball when they were 4 years old. Bobby was by Ben's side throughout his journey, pushing his wheelchair through school hallways and carrying his lunch tray. Bobby is a baseball enthusiast, a Commodores fan, and a really great friend. Ben and Bobby will be headed to Cooperstown this August to finish out their Little League careers. They are both thrilled to be here tonight. Ben, let's see it. Perfect strike right on the black. We would also like to take a minute to recognize the 10U Cape Cod Clippers. This team of determined 9 and 10-year-olds won the New England AAU 10U championship on June 19th. The Clippers ended the regular season with a record of 7-2-1. They entered the playoffs at the 9 seed. They would defeat the number 2, 14, 5, and 1 seeds on the way to the finals. Cinderella had made it to the ball and would face the number 4 seed team in the finals. The clock did not strike midnight as the Clippers won 8-2 and were New England champions. We would like to welcome the Clippers team to stand on the field during the national anthem. And speaking of the national anthem, Cape Harmony is Cape Cod's all-female identifying a cappella group comprised of 10 talented young women from all over the nation who come to Cape Cod during the summer to make music for its residents and visitors. After a year off due to COVID-19, they're back on the Cape and more excited than ever to be sharing their music throughout the summer. You can catch the group at one of their weekly shows across the Cape. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your caps as we honor America with the singing of our national anthem. To hear, we would like to welcome Miles Doak. Miles is a baseball-loving 7-year-old and a big fan of the Commodores, as well as his big brother Ben, who just threw out the first pitch. Miles lives by the mantra, "It's not how big you are, it's how big you play," and would love to be a Commodore someday. Miles?
It's gray, it's misty, but it's time for baseball here at Gov Fuller Field as the Falmouth Commodores welcome in the Bourne Braves for the second time this season. Good evening, everybody. David Adar alongside Matt Levine here in Falmouth on a really muggy day here, Matt, but we're getting a baseball game in, which is what we've been hoping for all day long.
Well, we were going back and forth. Are we going to play? Are we not? Who knows? Tarps were on the field, at least on the mound and home plate, for about an entire 24-hour day until maybe 10 minutes ago. Tarps got pulled, and that's the best sight to see. When the tarps come off the field, you're able to play some baseball.
Well, tonight we've got two of the top teams in the Cape Cod Baseball League. Only 4 teams in the league with double-digit points, and 2 of them here this evening as Bourne comes in 7-0-2 on the season with its league-leading 16 points. Falmouth coming in 4-3-2 with 10 points. And, Matt, these two teams met here just last week. A 13-8 win for Bourne, a win that they led from start to finish. But tonight, Falmouth trying to change that script and drop Bourne for the first time this season.
Well, Bourne's offense has been prolific. They're undefeated on the road. They're undefeated in general, but 4-0 at home, no tie, or on the road with no ties. So they've won every road game so far this season. That was the third game of the year for both sides. Bourne won that game 13-8 against Falmouth, 13 runs on 16 hits. And they combined to score 4 runs, 2 in each of the first 2 innings. So, like we said on the pregame show tonight, if Connor Bovair on the mound can put up a scoreless top of the first, we might see some momentum for the Commodores build early in their offensive home at bat, where we haven't really seen that so far this season.
And you mentioned Connor Bovair. The righty makes his second start of the season here for Falmouth as he takes the mound at home for the first time this season. And leading things off for Bourne will be Joe Lampy. He leads things off, the left-handed hitter out of Arizona State. Bovair looks in. And the first pitch home. Lampy shows bunt but pulls back. We're underway here at 6:01 from Gov Fuller Field. And again, it's misty out here. Rain's been drizzling just about all day here in Falmouth. But the field in great shape. Outstanding ground screw here. Count sits at 2-0 here on Lampy. And there's our first strike of the ball game, as called by tonight's home plate umpire, Dan Henry. At first, Joe Peters, and at third, Mickey Garcia, for your 3-man officiating crew for tonight's contest. Count now 3-1. Bovair, his first start of the season was at Hyannis, where he went 3 innings, allowed 2 runs, both of which were earned, and also gave up 4 hits in that win over the Harbor Hawks. Here he is a week later. Count sits full here on Joe Lampy.
Henry behind home plate with an extremely loud strike call. We've seen so many delayed calls this year from all these umpires, but this is the first loud scream and yell that we've seen this year.
A leadoff walk allowed there by Connor Bovair, so the leadoff man, Joe Lampy, aboard here. And Matt, it's early, but this is probably not the start Falmouth wanted given their struggles in opening innings this season.
Well, you got to just attack early and throw strikes to the top of the order here in the first inning. We've seen them give up runs, multiple runs, that is, in almost every home game in the first inning. So when you go up to hit in the bottom of the first, you're already trailing, and that's just so hard to get out of, despite it being a long game. You got to get out early and just come here and throw a scoreless first. If Bovair can roll up a ground ball here, that would be the biggest thing. But he's got to really buckle down now and start throwing strikes.
Able to get a first pitch strike to Christian Knapczyk, tonight's 2-hitter out of Louisville. And that ball low. Let's give you tonight's lineup. You saw Joe Lampy lead things off. Here's Christian Knapczyk. Batting third, Max Anderson. The cleanup man, Dalton Rushing. Caden Wallace plays out in right. He bats fifth. Colton Bender, the catcher, bats sixth. Braylon Wimmer, the left fielder, bats seventh. Josh Moylan out of ECU, tonight's designated hitter. He bats eighth. And rounding things out in this lineup, Tanner Schobel out of Virginia Tech. And that's the lineup tonight for head coach Harvey Shapiro's team in his 18th season at the helm of Bourne. Count sits at 1-1 here, and this one hit hard out to right center field. Over to his left is Anthony Hall, and he's able to get under it to make the grab, and there's the first out of the inning.
Now a ground ball up the middle would be even better. Get an inning-ending double play here in the first, but really good job by Connor Bovair to settle down after the walk and get a fly out. Now you got to face the Big Ten Freshman of the Year in Max Anderson. Just his second Cape Cod Baseball League game. Had multiple hits in his first one. A really tough out in the 3 spot here for Bourne.
He comes in 2 for 2 on the season at the plate for Bourne. And a breaking ball dropped in from Bovair for strike 1. Anderson this past season in his rookie year with Nebraska hit .332 and brought home 32 RBIs Also hit 7 home runs in 45 total games with the Huskers. Originally from Omaha. Also was the 2020 Gatorade Player of the Year in Nebraska after hitting .353 at the high school level with Millard West. Off and running is Joe Lampe, and the throwdown not in time. So there's an early stolen base for Lampe. That's his second of the season. And a runner in scoring position here for Bourne.
Well, now they eliminated the double play there on the ground at least and get a runner in scoring position for your 3-hitter with 1 out. This is why they are so good at scoring so many runs. They take advantage of extra bases when they have the opportunity to, and a really good jump by Lampe on that pitch, and he was safe with it. It was not close. He was safe by a mile.
And Anderson swings through strike 3, gets a bit away from French, so the throw down to first, and they're able to retire Anderson. Staying at second is Lampe. 2 gone here in the first.
Chris Armstrong making his Falmouth Commodores debut as the first baseman out of the University of Florida. He almost didn't get over to first base in time for French to make that throw on the drop third strike. He did just in the nick of time get to the bag, but this is now the 4th first baseman we're seeing start in a game or even appear in a game for the Commodores this season, and that's been the position that's really given them the most trouble in the infield so far.
Here's Dalton rushing. The first pitch he sees hits high out towards left field. Tracking back is Michael Curiali, and he gets under it for out number 3. So after a leadoff walk allowed to Joe Lampe, no damage done on the base paths. And we go to the bottom of the first after Falmouth holds the opposing team scoreless for the first time in an opening inning this season. We go to the bottom of the first. Falmouth coming to bat here from Gov Fuller Field. We go to the bottom of the first here from Gov Fuller Field. Falmouth coming to bat here momentarily and taking the mound here for the Braves. Making his second start of the season for Bourne is Hunter Omlid, the freshman who just finished up a JUCO season down at Central Arizona College. And he comes in here after a decent first outing for Bourne earlier this season, Matt.
Yeah, Hunter Omlid, pretty good outing in his first outing of the season. He's coming here. Tough weather conditions, though. Both teams have to battle them. So just similar to Bovair on the mound, got to buckle down in that first inning. And this Bourne pitching staff has been one of the best in the league. They don't give up too many runs. So if Omlid can continue that, they're going to be in a good situation tonight.
Luke Boyers leads things off as tonight's designated hitter for Falmouth. The left-handed hitter making his first appearance in the starting lineup in a week, playing in his 5th game here for Falmouth. Jace Borfin bats behind him. Braden Taylor, the 3-hitter. Chris Armstrong cleans things up tonight in his first Commodore game. Jake Ducart, tonight's 5-hitter. Jonathan French is the 6-hitter. Michael Curiali bats behind him at 7. Anthony Hall down at 8. And Cody Colden rounds out this lineup for Falmouth here tonight. Counts it's at 2-1 here on Luke Boyers, who's 2 for 10 on the season at the plate.
Omelet started in his first appearance of the season. Only went 3 innings, though. Did give up a run and gave up a run and 3 hits in those 3 innings, so we'll see if they extend him a bit more tonight in his second outing.
This past season with Central Arizona, he had 15 total starts where he went 89 2/3 innings, 3.31 ERA, and pitched well for his team at the JUCO level. But he's going to be making the transition back to D1 this coming fall. He'll be pitching for Grand Canyon University, still in the Phoenix area, but he'll move back up to D1. Popped up into left field, just a couple steps in, Braylon Wimmer, and he gets under it for the first out for Falmouth.
That's the first at-bat for Luke Boyers in quite a while. We saw him come out in the second inning of Friday night's game at Hyannis. I haven't seen him appear in a game since, but back at the top of that lineup, and after missing a couple games, is looking to get going offensively. Couldn't do it that time, though.
Here's the 2-hitter, Jace Borfin, who takes strike 1, low and inside. Borfin coming into tonight's game, hitting .379 on the season. He's reached base safely in every game thus far for Falmouth, and quickly behind 0-2.
This is the first time Borfin has not batted in the 5 spot this year. Has started in every game in right field. Batting up at the 2-hole now, though.
And he sits behind 0-2 in the count here. A pitch outside brings the count to 1-2. Yeah, we've seen tonight's lineup just a lot of movement from head coach Jeff Trundy. Michael Curiali, who we'd seen at the 2 spot for quite some time, slots all the way down to 7. As you mentioned, Jace Borfin moves up. Jake Ducart still hitting 5. Luke Boyers makes an appearance back in the lineup. Also the new guy tonight, Chris Armstrong, bats clean up. So all around some changes here for Falmouth. Hit weekly over to Tanner Schobel, and there's 2 outs quickly here in the first. So that brings up Braden Taylor now for Falmouth.
The second baseman from Texas Christian University.
The second TCU hitter to come to the plate here in this early inning for Falmouth. And you can see today, Falmouth wearing their red shirts and also wearing camouflage hats. It's Red Shirt Friday here. It's every week in the Cape Cod League. The home team wearing the red jerseys to honor the military. And Falmouth last Friday was on the road at Hyannis. But here tonight, first Red Shirt Friday of the season. Matt, certainly a great cause that the Cape League does by contributing to just the support all around for the military.
And the hats have an American flag on the side of them, Cape Cod Baseball League logo on the front, and then it says "Support Our Troops" on the back. I think that's one of the nicer touches.
Count now 3-0 here quickly to Braden Taylor.
It's also a way that the league can become united as one, almost brings everybody together for the same thing as they are competing on the field against each other.
Braden Taylor with a 4-pitch walk, and he's the first guy on base here for Falmouth. Taking a look at those hats, they are certainly a really good-looking piece of the uniform. Matt, I know you got your hands on one of the hats earlier this week. You've been wearing it around, and I think these guys love wearing them too.
Well, we see one of our fellow interns, Mike Murray, GM intern. I don't think he's ever taken that hat off. I don't think I've ever seen him without the hat, or without the hat not on his head. So, just a nice touch to the uniform here on these home Friday nights.
Well, here's Chris Armstrong for Falmouth, who's taking place in his first at-bat of the year for the Commodores. Just joined the team a couple days back. Tonight's first baseman out of Florida. And quickly behind 0-2 in the count here. Armstrong this past season played in 43 total games for the Gators and hit .289 with them. Brought home a career-high 41 hits this past year. And comes in trying to give Falmouth some new life, especially defensively playing at first base tonight, where the Commodores have had issues all season long.
Errors committed by all three of the previous first basemen. Some have multiple: Bryson Ware, Brendan Malone, and Taylor Smith. Just struggling in the field defensively and as well as the plate, the three of them are. So Armstrong looking to take that position over now.
1-2 pitch, line down the left field line, but tailing out of play and foul as it lands on the hilly area out of play. Count sits at 1-2 still here on Armstrong. Armstrong, a taller presence for this Falmouth team. He stands at 6'4". As the rain starts to come down a tad harder here at Gov Fuller Field. Still, to an extent, misty, but it definitely is picked up a bit over these last couple of minutes.
As soon as the game starts, you knew this was going to happen. It happens every time. Weather always picks up right when first pitch comes.
That happened 10 days
gods.
ago. That happened 10 days ago here between Falmouth and Wareham that evening. As soon as the game started, the skies began to unload. And that game only made it 3 innings before ended up getting called to rain. And Chris Armstrong swings through strike 3. Hunter Omlett picking up his first strikeout of the evening. And the Commodores strand one as we go to the second here from Gov Fuller Field. Five, 6, and 7 due up for Bourne as we move to the top of the second. Here from an overcast Gov Fuller Field, David Adar alongside Matt Levine. Thanks for spending some of your Friday night with us. Here in the 10th game of the year for both Bourne and Falmouth, two of the top teams early on here in the CCBL. Bourne 7-0-2 on the season. One of the best starts in the league since 2013. As the first pitch to Caden Wallace shows bunt, and it gets away as it goes down the right field line all the way into the Commodores bullpen before time finally called as it rolled into the stands along the right side of play. And so standing at third now is Caden Wallace, but they're going to have him move back to second. Time was called by the Commodores with that ball going out of play.
Well, that wasn't a really solid bunt by the hitter Wallace. He wanted that to go down the third base line with Ducart playing back. Instead, it went almost in between the pitcher's mound and home plate. He's fortunate enough, though, that the baseball is soaking wet on that grass. So when Jonathan French took his mask off, grabbed the ball, he couldn't find a grip and sails it into foul territory because it's so wet. And that's probably one of the reasons Wallace placed down that bunt.
So that's going to be scored as a hit, followed by an E2 on Jonathan French. So Commodores with another error tonight for their 17th of the season, which ties Katuitt for the league lead. That brings up Colton Bender now with the runner in scoring position. Still no outs in this inning. And he lines this one down the right field line, and it's going to stay fair. Rounding third and coming home is Caden Wallace, and trotting into second, standing up, is Colton Bender as he picks up his 5th RBI of the season, and Bourne with an early lead here from the Gov.
a bunt, an error, and then a line drive into right field that falls in fair territory by a few feet and goes for a ground rule double beyond into the bleachers beyond the right field side. And I mean, that's just a beautiful piece of hitting. That's 2 pitches, a bunt, and then the RBI double. Beautiful piece of hitting by Bender. The outside fastball, he just lines it the other way.
Here's Braylon Wimmer. Has a check swing on his first pitch. And it was called low for a ball. So that's now all 5 home games for Falmouth. The opposing team has scored first. All of the other 4 came in the first inning, but Bourne doing it here tonight in the second. Wimmer swings through strike 1, evens the count up at 1-1. This Falmouth team has just been playing from behind at home all season long. And, Matt, you look at the home-road splits for the pitching staff, which we keep talking about, I feel like, every game. But at home, this pitching staff has now allowed 37 total runs. On the road, just 16 runs have been allowed, as well as allowing opponents to hit .318 at home versus .213 on the road.
It's just a massive difference, and I can't figure out why. But they've just matched up better on the road, and their pitching staff has been better on the road. There's really no significant reason why this early in the season, but I'm sure they're going to try and rewrite their ship here at home, because this is a consistent thing so far through a week and a half of the season.
Josh Moylan takes ball 1. Well, on the other side for Bourne, it's been the road that's been the success to them, similar to Falmouth in that sense, but from the offense, not from the defense. Bourne now with 36 total runs on the road in the 5 games that they've played, tonight being the 5th. And the team also hitting .323 away from home. So the Commodores pitching staff struggles here at the Gov, and the Bourne offense, for some reason, loves to be away from Bourne. And that colliding here tonight, already a 1-0 lead for Bourne here in the top of the second. Count sits at 1-2 here on Josh Moylan out of ECU. And he swings through strike 3, but he gets away from French. Heading into third is Colton Bender. And safe at first is Josh Moylan. So despite the strikeout there for Connor Bovair, which is his 3rd of the game, Moylan able to reach first, and runners on the corners here now for Bourne.
French couldn't keep it in front of him, and it off of his blocker went all the way to the backstop on the right side. Absolutely no chance to even get there to make a throw in time before Moylan is standing on first.
So an opportunity here for Tanner Schobel, who comes in tied for the team lead with 6 RBIs on the season. And he takes ball 1 inside. An opportunity here for Bourne to plate more runs in this inning, already leading by 1. Have a man standing just 90 feet away in Colton Bender at third. Big swing and a miss there from Schobel to even up the count. Again, Falmouth coming into today's contest 0-3-1 at home so far this season. They last played here on Wednesday in a loss to Hyannis, a 5-2 loss. Falmouth's lowest scoring game of the season. Allowed 4 runs to the Harbor Hawks in the first, and from then on, playing from behind, just couldn't come back in that ball game. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Again, fouled off. And we'll do it again. Schobel out of Virginia Tech, where he just finished up his freshman season. A Virginia native from Williamsburg, and he hits this one on the ground over to short, fielded by Colden. He touches second, then the throw to first in time for the inning-ending double play. So despite one run scoring and another man standing at third, Connor Bovair able to get out of the second with just one run coming across, and Falmouth coming back-to-back, trailing here and trying to find some offense when we come back from the Gov.
Did you know 100% of the funding for the Falmouth Commodores comes from donations and all sales at the field tonight, including the 50-50? Your tickets will be entered into tonight's drawing to win one of the 8 prizes generously donated by our local merchants, as well as half of the 50-50 sales tonight. There's a complete list of prizes and donors at the intern tent, but trust me, it is all wicked good stuff. Our 50-50 raffles help keep summer baseball in Falmouth, which is better than sitting here watching the grass grow. So keep an eye out for our interns coming around now. Help out the doors by buying 50-50 tickets tonight. Tickets can also be purchased at the intern tent. Due to the required COVID-19 protocols, the Cape Cod Baseball League and local Cape Cod health departments remind you that all unvaccinated persons should wear masks and socially distance whenever necessary. Wash your hands often with soap and water. If you are sick, please stay at home. We appreciate your cooperation, and welcome back to Cape Cod Baseball.
We go to the bottom of the second here from Gov Fuller Field. Commodores coming back-to-back and still looking for that first base hit of the ball game, with Jake Ducart leading things off. 5, 6, and 7 stepping up to the plate for Falmouth here this inning.
Now batting the third baseman.
Braden Taylor, the lone man to reach for Falmouth back in the first. He reached via a walk before Chris Armstrong struck out to end the inning. So here's Ducart, the left-handed hitter, and the first pitch he sees, he grounds on the right side to Schobel, and there's quickly one gone here in the bottom of the second. So 1 pitch, 1 out. That brings up Jonathan French, who's absolutely been tearing it up over his last 4 games. 6 for his last 15 at the plate. All those hits, though, have come away from the Gov, and he steps up here looking for his first base hit of the season at home.
He was a late scratch to the lineup on Wednesday, but back in there, Jonathan French is swinging a red-hot bat. He was slated to start, or he did start on Tuesday, had a good game at Chatham, then was supposed to start Wednesday as well. He did not, though, and that would have been the first time we've seen a catcher start in back-to-back games. But we are still yet to see that this season. But French really swinging a hot bat, looking to keep it going.
The 2 catchers on this roster for Falmouth are French as well as Taylor Smith. And 3 pitches, and all of them strikes to Jonathan French as he strikes out for the second K of the night from Hunter Omlid. And quickly 2 gone here.
Now batting the left fielder from the University of California, Los
Here's Michael
Angeles,
Curiali, who
number 6,
bats 7th tonight for
Michael
Falmouth.
Curiali.
The first game of the season, he batted 9th. Then we saw him go all the way up to 2, where he had been hitting consistently, or coming to the plate consistently in that slot. But tonight, head coach Jeff Trundy moving him down to the 7 spot, as he's just 4 for his last 24 at the plate. Now hitting .278 on the season.
Coming off an 0-for-4 night on Wednesday with 2 strikeouts as well.
Yeah, we saw his bat real explosive in the early part of the season, but certainly cooled down and mellowed out a bit here over these last few games. Now behind in the count, 1-2. And tonight, Curiali playing out in left field, one of the many positions we've seen him play this season for Falmouth. Seen him play both sides of the middle infield. We've seen him play out in center, left field tonight, and he swings through strike 3 there. So that's the 3rd out of the inning after Hunter Omlid ends it with back-to-back Ks. And Falmouth still trailing 1-0 here from the Gov as we move to the 3rd. Before that, though, let's send it to Joanne Bethea, who had an opportunity pregame to catch up with head coach Jeff Trundy.
Manager Jeff Trundy. Coach, this is the first Redshirt Friday here at the Gov in a while. How does it feel to see the guys in the bright red jerseys?
Seems great. 4th of July weekend, I think it's appropriate. So it landed on a good weekend for us.
Absolutely. This team has yet to win at home. Why do you think that is?
I'm not even sure. We hopefully break that streak tonight. I just think it's one of those things. It seems like, we've put together our best efforts on the road. And, when we've been at home, it seems like we've got behind early. And a couple times we've fought back real well, but we couldn't quite get past the lead that we fell behind. So tonight hopefully is a different story.
These are 2 of the best teams in the West. What are you expecting from this matchup today?
Well, last time we played Bourne, I thought they played very well. They looked like a strong club, and they did things well. And, that's what we're trying to do on a consistent basis. At times we look good, and other times we don't look so good. So we just got to be a little bit more consistent, especially, with our pitching and our defense. And, the other night we didn't hit well either. If you don't do any of those 3 things, you're in big trouble. But, hopefully, like I said, we can play a little bit more consistently on a night-to-night basis.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
Did you get to do anything fun with Falmouth with high talent, Bourne with high talent? This is definitely...
We move to the 3rd here from Gov Fuller Field, and the leadoff man, Joe Lampy, digs in as the lineup card flips back over for the first time tonight. Lampy walked back in the 1st and then got as far as 2nd before the inning ended. Out of Arizona State, just finished up his redshirt sophomore season, originally from California. Back in 2020, played down at the JUCO level with Santa Rosa College, which ended the season ranked number 1 among the California JUCO schools. An 18-2 start before COVID ended up ending the season. Behind the count here, 1-2 to Connor Bovair, who's in his 3rd inning of work. Now 2-2. Lights just turning on here moments ago at Gov Fuller Field. Rain's held up a bit as this one lined through the gap, and it's going to fall for Bourne's 3rd base hit of the night, as Joe Lampy has now reached base both at-bats tonight, and he stands off of 1st.
Bovair struggled with the leadoff guy so far tonight. Leadoff walk in the 1st, the leadoff single on that bunt, and an error in the 2nd, and then a leadoff single here in the 3rd. But he's buckled down after that and fairly has really gotten the outs after that, but only that 1 run to show for it. So if he's able to bounce back again, that's just going to keep building his confidence on the mound, despite the leadoff runners.
The left-handed hitter, Christian Knapczyk, digs in and takes a slider on the outside corner of the plate for strike 1. But despite allowing that leadoff man, this is, where Falmouth sometimes has gotten into trouble in games this season, is even if it's just 1 man aboard, sometimes errors come from it, as Curiali out and left makes the grab for the 1st out. But those errors then end up allowing just the lone man to reach all inning to come home, and then Falmouth finds themselves trailing by even more.
Now batting the 3rd baseman, number 31, Max Anderson.
Max Anderson, who struck out in his first plate appearance back in the 1st. First time he's been retired this season. He came into tonight 2 for 2 on the year. playing in just his second game for Bourne. Here's the first pitch to Anderson. Hits it hard into left center field, tailing towards the gap. It's going to fall, and it's going to bounce up to the wall. Rounding third, coming home, is Joe Lampe. In standing up at second, Max Anderson with a one-out RBI double to put Bourne now up by a score of 2-0 over Falmouth. And a big hit there for Anderson, who picks up his first RBI of the season.
Now batting the first baseman, number 20,
Anderson just rips that into the left center field gap on a pitch that came inside. He turned on it. And, I mean, this is what we've been seeing from him since he got to college at Nebraska, winning the Big Ten Freshman of the Year, All Big Ten second team, All Big Ten freshman team. He won a Big Ten title in his first year, hit over 300, drove in 32 runs. He did everything for the Cornhuskers this past season, and he's really carrying it over so far in the first game and 3 innings that he's played.
Dalton rushing behind in the count 1-0. Here now with Anderson leading off of second. Puts a charge into this one. Out towards right center field. Hall going back, turning, looking, it's gone. Dalton rushing crushes his second home run of the season as it just kept going and going here at Gov Fuller Field. And he takes a slow trot around the base paths as Max Anderson waits for him at home. He comes in here now 4-0 Bourne here from Falmouth.
Dalton rushing knew that was gone off of the bat. He stood there, flipped his bat a little bit, and just jogged to first base. And that thing kept carrying into right center. I mean, that's just nasty. You're going to bat flip and just watch it and jog to first. That's tough to bounce back from if you're Bovair on the mound.
So Bovair still with just 1 out here in the inning. And he's given up 3 base hits so far here in the third. Bourne already with 3 runs across, and it's now 4-0 Braves. There's a big swing and a miss there from Caden Wallace to even up the count. Well, that's Bourne right there, just taking advantage of guys on and finding ways to bring runs home. Came into tonight 3rd in the league in runs scored this season, with a total on the year coming into tonight of 51 for them. Only teams ahead of them, Cotuit and Falmouth. But Falmouth so far tonight yet to bring anybody across. And again, we touched earlier on how good the Bourne offense has been away from home this season. That's now 39 total runs scored in visiting ballparks to just 16 runs that they've scored up in Bourne. There's the second out of the inning as Caden Wallace goes down via the K.
It's been such a weird game so far. Again, some hitters are absolutely on top of Bovair and attacking him, and he's given up 4 runs. But he also has 4 strikeouts already tonight. So he's been dominating some hitters, and then he loses it on others. And it's just a similar story of what we've seen for this pitching staff here at home.
Colton Bender fouls the first pitch that he sees, and head coach Harvey Shapiro, after the win last night for Bourne over Brewster, said that one of the things that has really helped this team get going early in the season has been timely hitting. And sure enough, they do that here in the third. Lead off with a single, then an out, and then follow that up with a double and then a home run. And so just putting hits together time after time.
Well, with guys on base, they hit the ball well, and that's how you score a lot of runs. They scored 13 on 16 hits last time here at the Gov. They haven't lost a game all season. Their offense is very, very good, and timely hitting will help that. You don't need that many hits if they are timely with runners on base.
Pops this one up over to the left side, tailing out of play, and it'll find the hill as some kids run for it. So the count stays at 0-2 here on Bender.
If you get a couple hits in a game, or few, or several, however you want to analyze it, you can get probably 5 hits, but if they're timely with runners on, you're going to score runs, and that's how you win ball games. They already have 5 hits and 4 runs tonight.
In that quote, Shapiro also added that his pitching staff hasn't walked many guys, and he said, quote, the defense has been all right. So all around, pretty happy with the play of his team through the first 9 games of the season. Last night, that win over Brewster, only a 7-inning game, where Bourne won 3-1 over the Whitecaps. Here's the 1-2 from Bovair. Pop up over towards right, tracking back. Borfin still going back and just a few steps in front of the fence, able to make the grab for the 3rd out of the inning, but not before. Bourne brings across 3 runs here in the 3rd, now leading by 4 over the Commodores. Falmouth will try and have an answer when we come back here from Gov Fuller Field.
Yeah. You ready? Hey. Let's go. Back. Yo, once again I'm back around. Real shit back in style. Haters reconcile. I'm so black and proud. First class tickets now. Feet all in the eye. Everybody looking down. Everybody get red when you brown, huh? Look at me up. I'm putting it down, you picking it up. Checking the models, they want us to go to college just so we can be stuck. Go to school to make a living, or teach yourself to make a fortune. I don't need your endorsement, I don't need reinforcement. Giving you your last warning, cause I'm at my prime. Yeah. Said I'm at my prime.
Coming off of a 1-2-3 inning, Hunter Omlid faces 8-9-1 here in the bottom half of the 3rd. Anthony Hall will lead things off for Falmouth. Tonight's center fielder for the Commodores. And he digs in for his first at-bat of the night.
Number 35, Anthony
Hunter Omlid's only allowed 1 base runner so far. That was a walk to Braden Taylor back in the 1st. Otherwise, 3 strikeouts to his name. And the first pitch that Hall sees, he hits back towards Omlid. Nice reaching stop. The throw off the bag, though. And so there's the potential first base hit for Falmouth tonight. And that is going to be a base hit officially. So Anthony Hall with the leadoff single here in the 3rd.
Well, he puts the ball in play. Good things can happen, especially with this wet grass. Maybe even try to hit the ball on the ground in this game. The field is so damp. There's no infield tarp, just the mound and just home plate. The circle around home plate has a tarp for the last day. The rest of it, the grass and the infield dirt, is slick, and it's showing so far with 2 throws that took the first baseman off the mound or off the bag at first.
Colden shows bunt on the first pitch he sees and pops it up right behind him to Colton Bender for the easy grab. And just like that, 1 gone. The last thing that Falmouth wanted there, Matt.
Like I said, trying to hit the ball onto the ground. I mean, that's what you want on a bunt. You want your bunt to go into the ground and try to force your opposing fielders to make a throw, an accurate one. And that's hard with this slick, wet grass. And the ball becomes heavier, and it's tough to find a grip. But just an unfortunate bunt that got off the top of the bat of Cody Colden, and he popped it up. And a really good play by Bender behind home plate to recognize that, because it wasn't hit as high as a normal pop-up to him would be, just kind of a little bit lower, and he had to recognize it quickly to catch it.
First pitch to Luke Boyers is a called strike. And going back to your point moments ago about the field being damp, it started raining here in Falmouth around 9:30, 10 o'clock last night, and the rain continued through the evening. Not heavy, but the rain did continue through the night. And then this morning and through the early part of the afternoon, just a light drizzle around town here. Anthony Hall running on that pitch. Bender doesn't get a good read on the ball, and so his throw late after a double clutch. So the count now 0-2 here on Luke Boyers, but for the first time tonight, Falmouth has a man reach second. And for Hall, that's his first stolen base of the season.
Got a good jump, and again, that wet ball, tough for Bender to get a grip on it and make the throw. So runner in scoring position. This is where the timely hits need to come.
Up the middle, and it's through into left center field. Luke Boyers with the base hit there. Anthony Hall stops at third, just past the outstretched glove of Christian Knapczyk at short. And so a couple of hits here this inning for Falmouth. Maybe something brewing as they have runners on the corners.
Well, that's the timely hit, but unfortunate the result that Boyers wouldn't want is to hit it close enough to a fielder on a line that Anthony Hall has to pause in the air, stay at second until it gets through into the outfield. Then he has to take off, so he can't score on a single from second that way. If that was hit on the ground through, he probably would have scored from second base. But the timely hit was there, just not the exact result that the Commodores want.
Well, let's see what Jace Borfin can do now, digging in for his second at-bat of the afternoon. Comes in 10 RBIs on the season, tied with Michael Curiali for the team lead. And a guy we've seen turn on some big pitches this season. Another ball down in the dirt to make it 2-0 here on Borfin. Hall leads off of third. Luke Boyers leads off of first. For Luke Boyers, that was just his third base hit of the season. Only his fifth game that he's appearing in for Falmouth after not being in the lineup for the last week. Another pitch down low here on Borfin. So Hunter Omlid pitching cautiously here to the dangerous Oklahoma Sooner hitter. And that ball just able to touch the outside corner. Now 3-1. Falmouth trailing by 4 here in the bottom of the third. One run across in the second for Bourne. 3 runs across in the third. And the 3-1, a huge swing and a miss from Borfin to make the count full. The wind here at Go Fuller Field is blowing in from center field, so any balls hit into the outfield, or any ball hit out, will have the wind resisting it. As the payoff pitch is on the outside corner, and Hunter Omlid battles back from being down 3-0 to come back and pick up the strikeout, his 4th of the night.
That's a nasty pitch to the left-handed hitter. Something about outside corner fastballs to left-handed hitters from a right-handed pitcher, it's just tough to locate. And Borfin couldn't pull the trigger on the bat. Rarely do we see him go down like that with runners on base this season. Obviously a small sample size still, just the 10th game of the year. But he's been so good, and so has Braden Taylor right now. And he's gotten a couple timely hits this year as well.
And he's looking for another one right now as he takes ball 1 low. So Omlid starting off to Taylor, similar to how he started off with Borfin. Commodores trying to avoid stranding. There are 2 runners on base here. Anthony Hall at third and Luke Boyers at first. Commodores already with 2 base hits in this ballgame. And Braden Taylor looking for his first here at the plate. The 1-0 from the right-handed pitcher is in for strike 1. Falmouth this season, 57 total runs that have been brought home. Second in the league to Katuitt, who's brought home 59. So some high-powered offenses here, but Commodores have to get those bats going only scored 2 runs back on Wednesday in the loss to Hyannis, their lowest scoring output of the season. And the night before, they had brought home 8 runs at Chatham, so it went from hot to cold overnight. And hoping that off day yesterday can inject some life once again here into this team. Count now 3-1 here on Braden Taylor. Matt, similar to how Omlid pitched to Borfin, pitching cautiously again here to Taylor.
Well, he's leaving everything on the outside part of the plate, it seems like so far. Just the 2 of the best hitters in the league through the first week of the season, both of them have been, so trying to avoid them with runners on base.
And not the swing that Braden Taylor wanted there. After he came around, he knew he wanted to leave that bat back. So count now full here on the TCU Horned Frog. Anthony Hall at third. Luke Boyers is at first. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the inning. Falmouth trailing by 4. And the pitch from Omlid is hit into the gap, and that's going to drop down for a base hit. 1 run scores in Anthony Hall. Luke Boyers will stop at third. And a huge 2-out RBI single from Braden Taylor, who brings home his 6th RBI of the season. And the Commodores are on the board here from Gov Fuller Field.
There's the timely hit, a full count pitch that you're going to get a pitch to hit with runners on base in a full count as a 3-hitter. And Braden Taylor gets one over the plate and, again, just places it perfectly. You can see the extension on his bat. He didn't go all the way around, just kind of placed it, a defensive swing with 2 strikes, perfectly into right center. And, again, that is timely hitting at its finest, and the Commodores need more of that. Hall comes in to score, and Boyer's running on the 3-2 pitch with 2 outs allows him to get to third as well.
So now down by 3. Here's Chris Armstrong for his second at-bat of the season. And he lays off strike 1 on, or check that, ball 1 on the outside corner of the plate.
Braden Taylor just continues to get on base as well. That's now 2 times tonight he's been on base. Comes up with the big hit again. I can't say enough about this. This TCU product has been one of the best players we've seen.
And he's running on this pitch. He's in safely, but the pitch gets away. Luke Boyer's in to score. It's now the run, or the lead has been cut in half for Bourne. 4-2 Braves here in the bottom of the 3rd.
With runners on base, anything can happen, especially with a wet baseball. A wild pitch comes. Pass ball comes, actually, and is the official scoring. And it's things can happen when you get guys on base. And the 3-2 pitch with 2 strikes and a single into the outfield, a runner from first gets all the way to third in Luke Boyers. Then he scores on a pass ball. Just opportunities are created when you get guys on and you have timely hitting.
There's strike 1 to Chris Armstrong. So after Anthony Hall and Luke Boyers both reached on a couple of singles, taking advantage of some timely base hits, a poor pitch from Omlid, and suddenly the lead has been cut in half here for Bourne. Braden Taylor now leads off of second after that stolen base, and this one hit on the left side over to short. Christian Knapchek with the field and throw, and in time on 1 hop for the 3rd out of the inning, but not before Falmouth gets on the board for the first time this ball game, bringing home 2 runs here in the bottom of the 3rd, and we move to the 4th now with the Braves on top here from Gov Fuller Field. Connor Bovair comes out with a couple of runs on the board now for Falmouth. Now 4-2 Bourne. Here's we move to the top of the fourth. And Braylon Wimmer will lead things off here for the Braves with 7, 8, and 9 set to come up this half inning for head coach Harvey Shapiro's team. Wimmer struck out swinging back in the second. One of the 4 strikeouts that Connor Bovair has tonight. Here's the 0-1 delivery from Bovair, and it's hit foul, now 0-2. Well, both these teams have guys that they lost to the U.S. Collegiate National Team who are going to be playing for a couple of weeks down in the Cary area around North Carolina. As there's another strikeout for Bovair. For Falmouth, the Commodores lost Adam Stone, the pitcher out of Harvard, who made a couple appearances on the mound. He'll be back in a couple of weeks, but for the time being, he's gone. And then for Bourne, they lost a huge piece of their offense and defense too. Reggie Crawford, who's both a powerful hitter but also can be a pitcher for this team. Both those guys are gone to play down in Cary against some opponents, and then they'll eventually take on the U.S. team, which is headed to the Olympics. That roster just announced today as this one grounded over to second, and there's now 2 gone.
A lot of guys around the league that have left their Cape teams to play for the collegiate national team, the USA team. And, I mean, this is where the best talent is in the country on the field. So, rightfully so, that so many players are leaving to go play for their country. And, I mean, that's a cool thing to be able to represent the United States in baseball. And Reggie Crawford was already making all sorts of headlines in his first week with Bourne, throwing over 100 miles an hour on the mound, batting really well for this team as well. And we saw him crank a home run here last time that Bourne was at the Gov over the right field wall. That is easily the farthest home run we've seen all season here. So just a couple of really solid players that are going to be out for a couple of weeks with Team USA.
42 total guys brought down to play as part of the collegiate national team. And like I mentioned, playing around the Cary area, their first game actually today, Stars versus Stripes in Danville, Virginia. And they're doing a bunch of these Stars versus Stripes games around the southern states, Virginia, North Carolina, Tennessee. And like I mentioned, then on July 18th, 19th, and 20th, they're going to take on the USA professional team, who will be heading to Tokyo to play in the Olympics here shortly as baseball makes its return to the Olympics. Just 6 teams that'll be playing out in Tokyo. The Dominican Republic, Japan, Mexico are in Group A, and then in Group B, Israel, Korea, and the U.S. So 6 total teams to play some baseball out in Japan. But I know for those guys who are getting the opportunity to play out there, certainly happy to have baseball back in the Olympics and get it back into that rotation, because it's great to see it played on such a huge stage every 4 years. Here's Joe Lampe with Tanner Schobel leading off of first after reaching via a walk. Count sits at 1-1 here on Lampe. And like I mentioned before, all those guys that left the Cape, or most of those guys who left the Cape to go play with the collegiate national team, will come back to their respective Cape teams. We already know Adam Stone will be back here with Falmouth later this season after spending a couple of weeks down there.
And I have the exact number. 26 active Cape League players have left to go play with Team USA. So just all the talent in the world and all going down to compete for their country.
I don't know if you've ever had an opportunity to get down to the USA baseball training complex down in Cary, but it is such a cool site. There's ballparks left and right. The D2 National Championship, or the D2 College World Series, is played there on a yearly basis. And it's an environment and a community that loves baseball as much as it can. Two-one delivery here is popped up behind home plate and out of play foul. So the count runs even at 2-2 here on the leadoff man, Joe Lampe. Bourne leading by 2 here in the top of the 4th. David Adar and Matt Levine with you. Hope you're staying warm and dry wherever you may be. A cool, overcast evening here in Falmouth. This one crushed out towards right center field, but Jace Borfin over to his right, and he gets under it for the 3rd and final out of the inning. So one man is stranded for Bourne, and we'll go to the bottom of the 4th. Falmouth trying to cut back into this deficit, trailing by 2.
Coca-Cola bottling of Cape Cod, Badger Sport, 47 brand, Cape Cod 5-cent saving bank, Milton Cat, Mosquito Marys, Fairway Financial, Ocean Spray, Seaside Lamont, and Rogers Gray. We will be back to you in the next inning for the second half of this outstanding list of loyal sponsors.
The third baseman, number 5, Jake.
Bottom of the 4th here from Gov Fuller Field. Falmouth trailing by 2, and Jake Ducart will lead things off with 5, 6, and 7 coming up this half inning for head coach Jeff Trundy. Falmouth with 2 runs in the 3rd, trying to make it more here in the 4th. And the first pitch that Ducart sees, he skies into straightaway center. Just a couple steps to his right, Joe Lampe camps under it for out number 1.
Second time tonight, Ducart has swung at the first pitch. Second time he's been retired. That's just frustrating, and probably next time he comes up to the plate, he could probably try and get deeper into account, because when you try to attack that first pitch strike and you can't get it to go your way, you're just going to try to see more pitches the next time.
Jonathan French digs in now, and he takes strike 1 on the outside corner of the plate. Well, Matt, going back to those 2 runs that Falmouth brought across in the bottom half of the 3rd, some rare runs that have been scored against Bourne starting pitching this season. Coming into tonight's contest, only 4 earned runs had been allowed all year long in the 35 innings of work from this Bourne starting pitching staff. An ERA of 1.03 through the first 9 games, but 2 runs that Falmouth able to bring home, so now 6 total earned runs that the starting pitching has allowed this season. It's been part of the reason Bourne has been off to such a good start.
And Omlad the first to give up multiple runs. The first starting pitcher to give up multiple runs. Every other starter has either given up 1 or 0 for this Bourne team. And when you pitch that well, but also their offense has been so prolific in scoring every which way, that's why they haven't lost yet. No team's going to match the way they've been playing so far.
Count remains 0-2 here on Jonathan French, and that's that courtesy of Nick Galley, the Bourne beat writer, who puts out a lot of great different stats and tweets about the Braves. What you could say historic start this season. No team has gone 7 wins undefeated to start the year since 2013, when Chatham won 6 straight to start the season. And in case you're wondering, the longest win streak to start a Cape Cod year is 13. Katuitt did it back in 2002, where they were 13-0-2 before dropping their 16th game that they had played that year. French skies this one high into the air into center field, and And again there, Joe Lampe, so he's recorded both outs this inning. 2 gone here now for Michael Curiali.
Now batting the left fielder, number 6, Michael Curiali.
So it was 5, 7, and 6 that came up for the Commodores in the second, and they all went down 1, 2, 3. Already 1 and 2 down here. Curiali in danger of being the third, and the Commodores going through the order 1, 2, 3 for the second straight time tonight. Quickly 0 and 2 here on the UCLA Bruin. Now 1 and 2. Omlin working pretty well out there on the mound. Is this one lined into right field? Tracking over to get it, and it's going to fall. Caden Wallace just out of his glove as Curiali digs in, rounding second, going for third. The slide. He's out at third. Home plate umpire Dan Henry calling him out on quite the throw from Caden Wallace in right field. It got over him, got all the way to the wall, and Curiali trying for extra bases out at third. He can't believe it. He's still standing there. He doesn't want to leave. And he finally now will leave the base paths.
Curiali with just so much aggression on the base paths all season. Looked like to me he got under the tag there, but I mean, the aggressiveness has been there all season. We've seen him try to stretch a single into a double, get tossed. We saw him early and delayed steal. One of them worked. He's done so many different things on the bases, and he was absolutely sprinting out of the box, too. That was just a really good relay by Wallace to Schobel, and then Schobel had that throw on the money. It started out with a misread from Wallace in right field. The line drive just got over his head. He ran in on it too much, and nearly a triple for Curiali. It's just, I mean, that was one of the better relays I've seen, at least this season. Going from right field in Wallace, Schobel threw it right on the money to Anderson, and Anderson's glove was, the throw took him to the bag, just his glove right in front of where Curiali was going to slide. I thought he got under it. The throw might have beat him. I thought he did get under it, but he punched out at third to end the inning. And it's so hard to end an inning at third base as the final out.
Well, we'll keep things here for this break between the half innings. Is Curiali trying for the triple. And, Matt, I agree with you. I thought calling it, he was safe. Looking at it live, the coaching staff for the Commodores couldn't believe it. We didn't see Jeff Trundy come out to contest it all with the home plate umpire, but and we've only seen Trundy come out of the dugout once all season, but you certainly thought there that maybe that could have been an opportunity for all three of the umpires to come together and talk about it.
Well, we saw that a couple games ago on Wednesday against Hyannis. Trundy came out and asked for a meeting. It ended up not going his way, but this is a time I wish we'd have a monitor to see the replay so that we can actually analyze the call, but at the naked eye, it looked like Curiali was under the tag, and it doesn't go their way, so they have to bounce back now and try to fight out of this 2-run deficit still.
Well, I heard our production crew saying that he got under it, that he was safe, but the game goes on as we go now to the top of the fifth with Bourne back to the plate. Christian Knapczyk, the left-handed hitter out of Louisville, leading the inning off. 0 for 2 on the day, with a couple of pop-outs into the outfield. Count now 1-1 here on Knapczyk. Bourne with 1 run across in the second, 3 in the third. And this one up the middle. See if anybody gets to it. Nobody will. Cody Colden giving a diving attempt, but it's going to end up in center field. And another leadoff base runner aboard here for the Braves. Knapczyk with his first base hit of the ballgame.
Now batting the third baseman, number 31, Max Anderson.
So Max Anderson, who picked up his first RBI of the season in his last plate appearance, comes up now with Knapczyk leading off of first. And the ball gets away from French. So advancing to second will be Christian Knapczyk on a wild pitch, as scored there by our league scorekeeper. Anderson on the ground over to Colden at short on a couple hops, able to get the throw for the first out of this inning.
Good response for Bovair. The leadoff single, very next pitch, a wild pitch that allows Knapczyk to move up to second. Already a runner in scoring position with nobody out, but then you follow it up by getting a ground out. Just got to keep that momentum going.
Here's the cleanup man, Dalton Rushing, who homered in his last plate appearance. A 2-run shot into right center field, and no doubter off the bat. And a big swing and a miss on strike one. Rushing this past season with Louisville hit 4 home runs in his 67 plate appearances. On the season, hit .254 for the Cardinals in the 28 games that he played, 19 of which he started. And he now calls time. Bourne and Falmouth here for the second time this season. Bourne winning the first meeting of the year last week by a score of 13-8. Commodores hit the road again tomorrow to play at Cotuit before coming back at home on the 4th of July to take on Cotuit yet again on a quick back-to-back. And they hit the road for 3 straight, and they close out at Bourne for the first meeting of the year up in Bourne. As there's the second out, another strikeout for Connor Bovair.
Now 6 on the evening for Bovair on the mound. So 6 strikeouts through 4 2/3 so far. I mean, he's pitching well. Aside from that one, in the 1 3-run inning in the third, that's really the tough spot. And we've seen the starting pitching have 1 or 2 poor innings every time here at home and then really settle in. But sometimes, or at least so far this season, every time those 1 or 2 innings where they struggle have just been enough for the opposing team to win.
Here's the 5-hitter, Caden Wallace. And some action in the Commodores bullpen. I think it's Chuck Harrison warming up out there for Falmouth. We haven't seen any action yet in the Bourne bullpen. They're just going to continue to ride Hunter Omlid for the time being. But Bovair in his first start of the season for Falmouth went a total of 3 innings. Here tonight already 1 out away from going 5. And we saw Trey McLaughlin back on Tuesday at Chatham with Falmouth's longest start of the season. That was a 5-inning outing where he allowed 4 hits, no runs, and struck out a total of 4 batters. So tonight, Connor Bovair trying to match that, and he's just 1 out away from doing so. And then I will likely turn it over to the bullpen for the rest of the game. Counts it's at 2-1 here to Caden Wallace. Wallace 1 for 2 on the night. And he swings through strike 2, now even at 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes here in the top of the 5th. Falmouth trailing by 2. And time called here by Caden Wallace. Wallace out of Arkansas where he just finished up his freshman season with the Razorbacks. 60 total games played for the overall #1 seed in the NCAA tournament, but a team that never made it to Omaha as a slow chopper down the third base side, and it ends up finding its way into the dirt foul. And speaking of the College World Series, Mississippi State winning it back on Wednesday in Game 3. Quite the game that the Bulldogs played for their first national championship in any sport. And there are some guys on the Mississippi State team that may potentially come here to Falmouth. Whether or not we see them remains to be determined, but a couple of national champions could potentially be making their way to Falmouth, if not the Cape.
And having given up just one hit to Vanderbilt in that championship clinching game makes it even sweeter for the Bulldogs.
Count now full here on the Arkansas Razorback.
Probably won't see Landon Sims, who's supposed to play for Falmouth, but he was the best reliever for Mississippi State all season, pitched a ton, and he's going to play with Team USA as well. So probably won't see him, but you might see some of the 3 other pitchers that are expected to come.
Another foul ball. And some of those other guys that we may potentially see here for Falmouth this season include, you mentioned Sims, but a few different guys. Mikey Tepper, another guy. David Rokos, and then the other guy, Casey Hunt. So 4 potential players in all that come here, but like you mentioned, likely won't see Landon Sims, and the rest remain to be determined. Another payoff pitch, and this time Connor Bovair able to wind it. He ends the 5th inning on back-to-back strikeouts, and we move to the bottom half of the 5th. Still 4-2 Bourne here from Gov Fuller Field.
What is a Commodore? I've always wondered.
It's a bird. It's a bird.
I thought it was a, like, you know, the like soldiers back then, like a Commodore.
Like a commander?
Oh, that's cool.
Oh my God.
Number 1, Michael.
Bottom of the 5th here from Falmouth, and a new pitcher on the mound for Bourne as Michael Sansone takes over for Connor Bovair here on the bottom half of the 5th. Or excuse me, Michael Sansone taking over for Hunter Omelette, I should say, here on the bottom half of the 5th, getting my teams mixed up there momentarily. But really good outing here from Omelette in his 2nd start of the year, where he only gave up 2 runs, just 4 hits to the Commodores, and leaves the game with the lead.
One of those runs was earned, so
Now batting the
that
center
stat
fielder, number
that Nick
35,
was giving us,
Anthony Hall.
that can continue if you're talking about earned runs, but multiple runs given up for the first time by a starting pitcher for Bourne this season.
And Anthony Hall starts things off with the grounder over to second, and Tanner Schobel able to handle it on 1 hop. And there's quickly one gone. So Sansone in for his second outing of the season for Bourne. Went 4 innings in his first appearance and gave up just 2 hits, struck out 3 batters, and nobody able to come home for Bourne in that win over Harwich back on June 25th. Out of Fairfield University. That brings up the 9-hitter Cody Colden here with 1 gone in the bottom of the 5th. Falmouth trailing by 2 here to Bourne.
Colden also coming off a tough game, 0 for 4 with a walk on Wednesday at 2 strikeouts. So much like Michael Curiali, who does have a double tonight, tried to stretch it into a triple and was thrown out, but a couple of those guys really slowing down offensively a bit.
And Colden already 0 for 1 tonight. Tried to show bunt back in the 3rd and ended up popping it up to the catcher, Colton Bender. Well, we've seen guys in this Commodores lineup go on different hot streaks thus far in the season. I think you could say Braden Taylor currently on one. Jake Ducart, maybe up until entering tonight's game, at least through the 2 at-bats he's had so far, has been on one. Jonathan French certainly been on one. But on the other hand, guys like Cody Colden, Michael Curiali, starting to quiet down a bit. All about trying to piece it all together at the right time and make it come together to create a complete ball game. Counts it's at 2-2 here on Cody Colden, and it's now full. Colden out of Washington State. And before that, from Post Falls, Idaho. But Idaho, one of 3 states to not have any Division I baseball. And the pitch upstairs there, it's ball 4, and Cody Colden on base for the first time this ball game. So we go back to the top of the lineup here for Luke Boyers, who singled and came around to score the 2nd run of this ball game for Falmouth back in the 3rd. Takes a big deep breath before stepping into the box, and now he's good to go. Sansone's pitch, big swing and a miss from Boyers for strike 1.
Boyers batting right-handed for the first time tonight with the lefty on the mound now. Did have a hit lefty and came around to score his last time up. Only switch hitter that the Commodores have in their entire roster.
And facing the left-handed hitter Sansone, first time hitting from the right side tonight, as Hunter Omlid was a right-handed pitcher. The 1-1 delivery popped up foul, tailing towards the right side, and it's going to find its way into the grassy area where a fan able to retrieve it. Matt, despite being a windy, cool, and at times wet night here at the Govs, still a better turnout than I actually expected here for tonight's contest. A lot of fans braving the elements and coming out here to enjoy a Friday night's worth of baseball here at the Gov.
I think that has to do a lot with it being a holiday weekend or a Friday night now for 4th of July being on Sunday. The area around Falmouth and the Cape in general, you said it earlier today, just the traffic already unbearable. We haven't really seen that to its worst yet, but we're going to get there, and I think it's going to start this weekend.
Yeah, it's very busy in the area around here, and we're back at home on the 4th of July and keeping our fingers crossed. It's warm, that the weather is that it holds up for that ball game, and that we get a good crowd here for that night's worth of baseball against Katuitt. Tonight, game 10 of the year for both Bourne and Falmouth, and tomorrow night the Commodores will have their first meeting of the year with the 2019 champion in Katuitt. Only team in the West that Falmouth still hasn't played this season. And they'll get them on the back-to-back tomorrow night up in Cotuit at Lowell Park, and then here on Sunday, like I said, 4th of July. Count now 1-2 here on Boyers. Sansone with a long look. And the count runs even 2-2. Wind still blowing in hard from center field. Seen one home run tonight off the bat of Dalton Rushing. But otherwise, ball certainly not carrying here in Falmouth. Another foul ball. And the count's still 2-2. Luke Boyers putting together a real solid at-bat here behind in the count before evening things back up and continuing to fight away here on Michael Sansone. Two balls, two strikes. Colden fooled on the pickoff attempt, and so he's caught in a pickle here, tries to get around it, but he's tagged out just before getting to second, applying the tag, Christian Knapczyk, the shortstop. So Colden fooled on the base paths, and there's now 2 gone here in the inning.
Colden running on first move from the left-hander. And perfect timing for Sansone on the mound to go over to first base with that. Times it up perfectly to when Colden's trying to steal.
And Boyers lines this one right to Christian Knapczyk. So Knapczyk ends up making the final couple outs of the inning. And we now go to the top of the 6th. Still 4-2 Bourne here from the Gov. But before that, some TikToks here that you can watch.
Hi, I'm Steve Anzoni, owner of Fairway Financial and Cape Cod's Retirement Income.
Your daughter. That's an easy one. We go with Michael Sansone because he's a sus boy.
Xavier, because he has a mustache. Austin Parsley. Say Mike, because you never had a conversation with him. You would know exactly why. Mike Sansone.
Mike Sansone for sure. Josh Ekman, because he ate 10 plain Hawaiian rolls for lunch today.
There you go.
Robert's day is done after 5 innings of work as he turns it over now to the bullpen. And Chuck Harrison here on the mound for the Commodores in his 3rd outing of the season, his 2nd out of the bullpen. And he comes on here with Falmouth trailing by 2 in the top of the 6th with Colton Bender leading things off here for Bourne.
Bovair with a really solid start. It turned into quieting, for the most part, the Bourne offense. Went 5 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, all of them earned. Had 2 walks, and he struck out 7 batters, which is the season high now by any pitcher on this Commodore staff, starter or reliever. 7 Ks for Bovair is the most by any pitcher in an outing this year.
So he turns it over now to Chuck Harrison in his 2 outings thus far. 4 total innings of work, and gave up 2 runs to Hyannis back on Sunday. As this one popped up into right field, Jace Borfin initially to his right, now a hard charge to his left, and he's there for the first out.
Well, that wind really caught that ball in the air and brought it all the way towards the right field line. So Borfin has been so solid in the field. He has 1 error, a throwing error that was. But other than that, everything in the air, he's really played well all season and adjusting well to the wind there.
That brings up Braylon Wimmer now, who's 0 for 2 on the night with a couple of strikeouts, and shows bunt on the first pitch. A lot of guys here, Matt, for Bourne, showing bunt early on in these at-bats. We saw Colton Bender do it just moments ago. Braylon Wimmer doing it there. There's been other guys in the lineup, too, who have done it.
Creating opportunities via the bunt. I'm a big fan of the small ball. Move guys over, but also if nobody's on, try to bunt your way on for a single. I think that's a way that, I mean, we really haven't seen defenses shift too much in this league so far this summer, but when they do, that's also a good way to beat the shift.
So I was going to ask you that. You know, we haven't seen the shift. I'm not sure if teams do shift here in summer ball, but you're a fan of, such as at the MLB level, when a team does shift, you know, try and bunt to combat it and fight against it?
I mean, it's different at the big league level because they're paid to hit, and they're paid to hit home runs, and it's a different outlook there. But at the college level, if they're shifting against you, bunt your way on base and create something that way. And that's also a good way to break out of a slump, too, is bunting for a hit. Gets your confidence right back up. But at the big league level, it's a little bit different because of all the money that they're paid to hit homers.
There's the first strikeout for Chuck Harrison, the 8th of the night for the Commodores pitching staff, and 2 gone here quickly in the 6th.
Quite the yell from Dan Henry behind home plate there. That was one of the first punch-outs we've seen. All the strikeouts that Bovair had were swinging. That was the first looking one for a Commodores pitcher tonight. And he just, I don't know what he yelled, but it was loud. We heard it up here in the press box.
That brings up Josh Moylan here now for Bourne. I think this is the first time this season we've seen Dan Henry officiate one of these Commodores games, and he certainly, you talked earlier, Matt, about just his strike call, but the strikeout call there too. I always find that so interesting how, you know, every umpire, it's, you know, at the end of the day, it comes down to calling balls and strikes, but how different every umpire can make it be, from their hand movements to what they say to just how they go about doing their job.
Same thing to the players on the field. At the end of the day, swinging a bat, throwing a ball, but every single player does it differently. I think that's what's so great about a sport like baseball.
Counts it's at 2-1 here for Moylan. And make it even at 2-2. You a fan of the home plate umpires that just go simple with their strike or strikeout calls, or you like when they go big and do something grand?
Well, if I'm the hitter, I don't want them to punch me out like that. But if I'm up here in the booth, they can do as they please with their enthusiasm. But that's tough as a hitter. If you get absolutely punched out like that, you're just walking back to the dugout upset a little bit.
Count still 2-2 here on Moylan. Here on the top of the 6th. That one just outside, so it runs full. We've already seen Harrison walk 4 batters this season for Falmouth. 3 of those were in his start back at Wareham on June 21st, the second game of the season for Falmouth. And another foul ball, so it's still 3-2. Harrison out of UCLA, one of 2 Bruins here on the field now for the Commodores. as he comes home with the payoff pitch, and it's low. And so another base runner allowed. Have yet to see a 1-2-3 inning from this Commodore pitching staff as Moylan reaches base for the second time this evening.
Now batting the second baseman, number 27.
They've had a runner in
Tanner
scoring position
Doble.
in every inning except the fourth and currently here in the sixth. So again, that timely hit, they've gotten a couple of them. That's why they have the lead 4-2. But they're also creating opportunities for their team to get the timely hit by getting guys in scoring position.
Here's the 9-hitter, Tanner Schobel, who walked in his last plate appearance in the fourth. Before that, grounded into an inning-ending double play. Comes into this game hitting .375 on the season with a total of 6 RBIs, and he's got Moylan here at first as the count runs to 1-1. Now 1-2 as Harrison gets ahead again. Already 1 strikeout this inning for the UCLA Bruin pitcher. 7 on the season here for Harrison. A deep breath and the 1-2 pitch. Good stop by Jonathan French to keep it in front of him and prevent Moylan from advancing. Count now 2-2. 2-2 with 2 outs. And it's inside. Another count that's run full here on a Bourne hitter as Harrison started out ahead in the count, and then it's ended up working back into the batter's favor. And here we go again with another full count here for Bourne.
And Moylan's going to be in motion.
Pitch home. Popped up on the left side. High into this sky, coming in Michael Curiali in left field, and he's under it to make the grab as he calls off Cody Colden for the 3rd out of the inning. So no damage done despite the base runner aboard for Bourne, and we'll now go to the bottom of the 6th. Still 4-2 Braves here from Gov Fuller Field.
Get ready for it. Get ready for it. Get ready for it. Yeah, this is it. Go! Let's go! This is it.
Bottom of the 6th here. Commodores trying to get some runs back to cut into this deficit. Their 2 runs so far came in the 3rd, and otherwise they've been held scoreless in every inning thus far. Jace Borfin will lead things off here in the bottom half of the 6th with 2, 3, and 4 coming up for Falmouth. Borfin 0 for 2 on the night thus far with a ground out and a strikeout. And the first pitch to him is low for ball 1. Take a look at some of the scores going on around the league. Hyannis trails Wareham by 1 up in Wareham, and that game's in the bottom of the 4th. This ball popped up, and it's going to find the seats. Foul. Top of the 3rd, Orleans trailing Brewster by 1 in Orleans. And then YD on top of Chatham by 1 in the top of the 2nd. No score being reported in the Catuit-Harwich game. Still says pregame, although I believe that game would have gotten underway about an hour or so ago. So Bourne leads the league with its 16 points. YD the next most with 12. YD, like I said, currently winning by 1 in Chatham. And then Brewster and Falmouth each tied for 3rd in the league with 10 points apiece. As Borfin hits this one high in the air on the right side, coming in Caden Wallace. And check that, it's going to be Joe Lampy, the center fielder, who ends up calling him off in right center field for the 2nd out.
Rare sight to see Borfin go 0 for 3 to start a game.
Now
It's been so incredibly hot at the plate, cooled down a bit. But Braden Taylor has been on base both times tonight, looking to start a 1-out rally here. The Commodores, again, with that just 1 inning of offense. Other than that, scoreless. That's not going to get it done here at home when the pitching struggles the way it does.
That now brings up Braden Taylor here with 2 outs in the inning. And the 0-1 delivery to Taylor. Cut on and miss for strike 2. Falmouth in danger of going down in order for the 2nd time tonight. Bourne was able to face the minimum back in the 4th after Michael Curiali was out on the attempted triple at 3rd. Now 1-2. Count remains at 1-2 here on Braden Taylor. So as it currently stands, going back to standings, scoreboard, all that, YD would hold on to its lead in the East should its result hold. Brewster would pick up another win, its 5th of the season, as this one lifted into left. Braylon Wimmer over to his left, or over to his right, excuse me, and makes the grab. He's thinking it's the 3rd out of the inning. He started to make a trot back towards the dugout, but then realizes that it's the 2nd, so he makes the trot back into left.
Now batting the first baseman, number 23, Chris Armstrong.
Some of his teammates on the field laughing at him a little bit. But another just routine fly ball out of these Commodores bats. I mean, nothing has really been pressuring this defense for Bourne so far tonight.
Falmouth with just 4 hits in the ball game. They've done a good job of putting balls in play. Only 4 strikeouts on the night for Bourne, but just can't get those hits to fall their way yet again here at the Gov.
And the 4 hits tonight, 3 of them came in 1 inning, in the 3rd inning. And that was the inning that they scored the 2 runs. And as I said, you got to piece things together inning by inning. It can't just be 1 inning where all your offense happens. It has to be over the course of the 9 innings.
And that's what Bourne has done so well this season, to work to the 7-0-2 record and league-leading 16 points.
All things considered, the Commodores pitchers have been so much better tonight. Only 2 innings where they've given up runs, but the offense is what has gone really quiet. And that's why they trail by 2 still.
Armstrong goes down swinging for the 2nd time tonight, and the Commodores go down in order 1-2-3 here on the bottom of the 6th and still trail by 2. Before we go to break, let's send it down to the 3rd member of our team, Joanne Bethea, who's standing down the 3rd base side.
while being down here on the field is the attitude of this team. You could tell at the beginning of this ball game that they just had that look on their face like, oh no, not again, another home game where we're down in a hole. And when I talked with some of them after the game on Wednesday, they just said that they felt lackadaisical. And when I talked with Coach Trundy about this at the beginning of the year, he said how he keeps his guys' mindset in check is reminding them how awesome of an opportunity this is. And you could tell within the third that when they changed their mindset, that their performance also changed. So if they can just keep this mindset for the rest of the game, they're going to be a lot more successful. Back to you.
Thanks, Joanne. And definitely agree with that sentiment that this team just, I mean, we talked with Bryson Ware after the loss on Wednesday, asked him why or what he attributes this struggle at home to, and he said it's tough to pinpoint one thing, and you know, we've tried to talk about it on the broadcast and make some predictions, but just all around, everybody, you know, confused why this is happening, but certainly getting frustrated by it too.
You're supposed to defend your home turf, and it's different in summer ball, obviously, when the goal is to really get noticed by scouts and make the jump to the next level after college. But at the end of the day, championship-winning teams win at home. And so if the Commodores really want to stay up at the top, in the top two behind Bourne right now, if they want to stay there in the standings in the West and have a chance at the playoffs this season with only 4 teams making it, 2 from each division, they're going to have to start winning some games at home.
Number 4, Joe Lampe.
Joe Lampe leads off the inning here for Bourne here in the top of the 7th with the Braves leading by 2 here over the Commodores. Lampe 1 for 2 tonight with a single, and then he walked in the first, then a single, and then popped out to right in his last at-bat in the 4th. And the 3rd time tonight that he leads off an inning, and he lines this one into right field as he gets past Taylor at second, just out of his reach. And so a leadoff man aboard yet again here for the Braves. That's another thing that Bourne has done such a good job of tonight, getting that leadoff man on.
Now batting the shortstop, number 2, Christian.
They've done it in all but 2 innings so far. So 5 out of the 7, they've gotten the leadoff man on. And again, all things considered, this Commodores pitching staff is probably their best outing at home. Only 4 runs so far to the hottest team in the league, and 3 of them came in 1 inning. So 4 zeros on that scoreboard so far on offense for Bourne, and that's so rare to see.
Well, the first time that Bourne played here, they ended up scoring in all but a couple of innings in that ball game. Just 3 total innings where they didn't bring runs across. Tonight, it's been a different story. Just 2 innings, I should say, where they've scored. But it's been the lack of offense this time around from Falmouth, which, at least up to this point, has prevented them from coming back in this ball game. Christian Knapczyk ahead in the count 1-0 now. 1 for 3 on the evening. He singled in his last at-bat in the 5th. There's a couple of throwovers here to Lampe. Lampe already with 1 stolen base tonight. This isn't a Bourne team that runs too often. That stolen base that Lampe had back in the 1st was just the 6th stolen base of the season for the Braves. And he's going again. Throw down. And he gets under it. His 2nd stolen bag of the night. So now make it 7 stolen bases on the season in just 10 total tries for this Braves team.
Well, when they get the opportunity to do it, they take it and they capitalize. You said 7 for 10, so they don't really run into outs the way we see some Commodores offensive hitters do, but their base running is particularly solid, which is why they get the timely hits. They have opportunities to get them when they have guys in scoring position stealing from first and reading balls in the dirt really well as well.
Count 2-1 here on Christian Knapczyk. Harrison with a look back to second. And the 2-1 over the head of Ducart and into left field. And we're going to see Lampe come home to score as the throw from left, and Michael Curiali will go to second. Staying at first, Christian Knapczyk as he's got his second base hit of the ball game, his 6th RBI of the season, and Bourne back up by 3. It's now 5-2 Braves.
Now batting the third baseman, number 31.
Without that stolen base, the run doesn't score on a single there. So taking advantage of opportunities when you get guys on, running when you can, when you know you'll get a good jump. That's what they did with Lampy, and he scores on a single to the outfield. Time and time again, the timely hit has been there for Bourne.
Max Anderson pops the first pitch he sees foul. Still no outs in this inning. Both men who have come to the plate have ended up singling. And then Lampy coming around to score just moments ago. Third run of the season that Chuck Harrison has allowed. His first here tonight, after allowing 2 in the win over Hyannis back on Sunday. He's ahead in the count, 0-1 here on this year's Big Ten Freshman of the Year, Max Anderson. And now it's even at 1-1.
Nebraska swept the awards in the conference this year. Coach of the Year, Player of the Year, Freshman of the Year, and the championship.
And he hits this one on a line into left field, and that's going to fall in front of Curiali for the 3rd straight single of this inning for Bourne. So Anderson now with 2 base hits in the ball game, and runners on first and second here for Bourne.
Anderson is proving to be one of the best freshmen in the nation with the season that he had at Nebraska, but even now on the Cape in the 2 games that he's played in, multiple hits in both of them. RBI double and a run scored tonight, and then he rips that single. That was probably the hardest hit ball we've seen tonight. Just such a solid player here for Bourne.
And that's going to bring Jonathan French out now to have a talk with his pitcher. And now we're also going to see pitching coach Mike Landry come out of the dugout. And it looks like we're going to get a pitching change here. There's a right-hander warming up in the bullpen for Falmouth, and as Coach Landry's walking out to the mound, he signals down to the bullpen. And typically when he comes out, we see him give the pitcher one more opportunity, but doesn't do so here with Chuck Harrison after allowing 3 straight singles to start this inning. And there's runners on first and second here for the Braves. We'll step aside from the Gov and come back with the new numbers on the new pitcher when we come back from Falmouth.
Even better than I was the last time, baby. Ooh, 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 ooh.
We back.
I'm good. Better than I was the last time, baby. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
We back and 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 we back.
Better than I was the last time.
So a rare early pitching change here from mid-inning from pitching coach Mike Landry. Brings in Andrew Yancek to replace Chuck Harrison. Here in the top of the 7th, already 1 run across for the Braves and 2 runners on here. Both would be credited to Harrison should they come home to score. But Bourne with a 5-2 lead, and the Commodores trying to make it, or trying to prevent any more runs coming across with the dangerous Dalton Rushing digging in here. Still no outs in the inning.
Yancek on the mound goes out of that 3/4 arm slot. So bringing in a different look from what we've seen so far tonight with now being the third right-hander, but two normal throwing, I would say, right-handers over the top in Bovair and Harrison. Now you got a 3/4 arm slot from Yancic to try and mix it up a little bit.
And he drops in strike one here on Dalton Rushing. Yancic, his third appearance of the season, both of which have come out of the bullpen. He's pitched 4 total innings on the year, and he's given up just 3 hits. Only allowed 1 run through those couple of outings. Trying to limit it here. Gets ahead in the count 1-2.
His last outing was on Sunday at Hyannis. He went a clean inning, hitless and scoreless. Picked up the save. Had a walk, though, and a strikeout, faced 4 hitters. But he did pick up the save. Second save opportunity of the season for Commodores pitchers. Mike Esposito picked up the first, and Yancic gets one here as well against Hyannis.
A long look back towards second, where Christian Knapczyk stands. And this one grounded softly over to Taylor at second. Goes to first just to get the 1 out. Both base runners advance. So there's now 1 out here in the inning, as that ball was too soft for any kind of double play.
Productive out for Dalton Rushing. Ground out to the right side with runners on first and second. You move them up, both into scoring position. And now you give your 5-hitter an opportunity to blow this game open just a little bit if timely hitting can come through once again for Bourne.
Well, we've seen that timely hitting time and time again. Caden Wallace will look to do it here, digging in with both runners in scoring position and just 1 out here in the top of the 7th. And this one towards the head of Wallace as he ducks out of the way for ball 1. Joe Lampe started off the inning with a single and then a stolen base before Christian Knapczyk ended up bringing him around to score from second. That base hit for Knapczyk, his 6th RBI of the season. Another single, and then Max Anderson singled as well. That brings us to this point in the ball game here in the top of the 7th. Deep breath, and pitcher comes home with ball 2. Standing on deck for the Braves, Colton Bender, who's 1 for 3 tonight. Wallace here 1 for 3 as well. 2-0 pitch inside, and Wallace really making him work in Yancic. Yancic's falling behind 3-0. Trying to limit the danger anymore here in this inning. And in this ball game, Bourne already with a 3-run lead, leading 5-2. And here's the pitch. 4 pitches, and all of them balls to Caden Wallace. So he takes the trot down to first, and now the base is loaded here for Colton Bender.
In a way, that's not the worst thing in the world if you're Yancic on the mound. First base is open, and now you have a force anywhere. So you can get an inning-ending double play up the middle. The corners will play up to try and get the out at the plate. So it could help you, other than the fact that you have to throw 4 extra pitches and add another runner onto the base paths. If they all come around to score, that'd be an extra run. But it also could help you in a way to get a double play and now have a force anywhere in the infield.
So we'll see what happens here with Colton Bender digging in for his 4th at-bat of the night. And he hits the first pitch he sees into right field, and that's going to fall in front of Jace Borfin for another base hit. 1-run scores in Christian Knapczyk. All the runners advance, and it's now 6-2 Bourne here in the top of the 7th. Back up by 4 are the Braves, and still only 1 out here in the inning. Bases remain loaded.
Timely hitting. That's exactly what this team has done all season, and especially tonight. Another RBI single, another RBI hit. And with the bases loaded, get one through into the outfield. Just another good piece of hitting by this team. That's the 2nd RBI hit that Bender's had tonight.
brings him up to 6 RBIs on the season. And before Braylon Wimmer can come to the plate, a pinch hitter here for Bourne as Colby Thomas out of Mercer comes to the plate for his first at-bat of the night. Comes here with the bases loaded and Bourne up by 4. And the first pitch he sees, he pops up behind home plate, foul and out of play.
Well, Wimmer was struggling, went 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. So passing it back on to Thomas now for a pinch hit. Big spot here with the bases loaded and 1 out.
He's behind in the count, 0-1 here is Colby Thomas. And Yancek's pitch home. Misses for ball 1. Thomas hit .247 this past season with Mercer in his 53 total games played for the Bears. Hitting .235 on the year with Bourne. As another ball that's popped up, this one on the right side. Armstrong with a potential play to get it. And on the run, just in front of the Commodores dugout. Able to make the grab for a huge second out here in the 7th.
Well, that's a massive out in foul territory. The runners can't advance. The ball's not even put into fair play. And Armstrong makes probably the best play by a first baseman we've seen. The wind pulling it all the way in towards home plate on the right side, and he just had to keep sprinting in as the wind absolutely took it. And he's able to avoid running into the fence and make the catch. Keep his body clean as well.
Here's Josh Moylan, another guy who's looking for his first base hit of the night. He's officially 0 for 1, but he did reach back in the 2nd on a strikeout and then reached in the 6th on a walk. And here he comes up, bases loaded, 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. Here's the delivery from Yancek, and it's inside, ball 2. Chuck Harrison started this inning off by allowing 3 straight singles. And then pitching coach Mike Landry came out to end his evening. So just an inning officially in the books for Chuck Harrison, giving up 3 hits in that outing. Cut on there by Moylan for the first strike of this at-bat. Commodores had cut the deficit to 2, but the 2 runs this inning for Bourne bring it back out to 4 now. A 6-2 advantage here for the Braves. And the 2-1 delivery. Popped foul and out of play down the left side. Bourne, not a team that, even though they are dangerous offensively, only scored double-digit runs once this season. That was the 13 that they played it against the Commodores back last week. This at-bat continues here from Moylan. But in every other game that the Braves had played, they've only played at single-digit run totals. And especially recently, that number's been low, but still maintain this undefeated record off of the timely hitting, strong pitching, and good defense behind them. 2-2 delivery here to Moylan, and he swings and misses for strike 3 to get out of the inning. So the Braves leave the bases loaded, but not before 2 runs come home in the inning, and the lead back out to 4 now for the Braves. We go to the bottom of the 7th. 6-2 Bourne here from Gulf Fuller Field.
Ticket number 064699. The winner of a free The winner of a $20 gift card to Shipwreck, ticket number 867426. And the winner of the Grand Cash total of tonight's 50-50 raffle, ticket number 447127. Again, that's 447127. Make sure to head over to the intern tent to collect all of your prizes. And thanks for playing the 50-50 raffle tonight. Now batting the third baseman, number 5, Jake Ducart.
Bottom of the 7th here from Gov Fuller Field. Commodores trailing by 4. And Michael Sansone still on the mound here for Bourne as he works into his 3rd inning of the night after he came on for tonight's starter Hunter Omlin back in the 5th. So far, he's faced the minimum. Did walk Cody Colden back in the 5th, but Colden then was out on the base paths after being fooled on the pickoff attempt. And quickly here, Jake Ducart behind 0-2. Ducart, French, and Curiali set to come up here in the 7th for the Commodores. The Commodores team, which has just 4 hits tonight to Bourne's 10. Another quiet night here for the offense. Commodores scored just 2 runs in the loss to Hyannis back on Wednesday. Thought maybe that the off day yesterday would get things going for them, but up until this point, still been a quiet night as that carryover has happened. Here's the 1-2 delivery from Sansone. And it's on the outside corner of the plate for strike 3. His 2nd strikeout of the night, and there's one out here in the 7th.
Like I said, Ducart going back to the plate for the 3rd time. He swung at the first pitch of each of his first 2 at-bats, so he wanted to get deeper into account, and unfortunately fell behind 0-2 and couldn't work back out of it. Ducart falls to 0 for 3 on the night, and just it's really overall been a quiet offensive night for this Falmouth team again.
That brings up Jonathan French, who takes ball 1. The last inning that the Commodores brought more than 3 guys to the plate was the 3rd. They had a base runner reach in each of the 4th and the 5th, but each of them were out on the base paths. And then in the 6th, nobody reached. And thus far in the 7th, 1 out. As French is even in the count here, 1-1.
And we'd like to remind you that foul balls in the police parking lot are off limits. Thank you.
French falls behind on the count 1-2. Falmouth trying to find some way to come back in this ball game. Trying to avoid falling to 0-4-1 at home to start the season. And Jonathan French goes down looking. Make that 3 straight Ks going back to last inning for Michael Sansone. 2 outs here in the 7th.
Ducart and French in the middle of the order combine 0 for 6 now.
Number 6.
Both each with a strikeout.
Curiali.
I mean, this offense has just gone completely quiet in the last 2 games. Almost identical scoreline that we have tonight that Falmouth had on Wednesday night. 2-4-2 was what they had on Wednesday. Tonight, it's 2 runs, 4 hits, and only 1 error so far.
You think maybe, we've been talking about the struggles all season long. Maybe a cold night here, a quiet crowd, maybe that continues it. It's really hard to say against a Bourne team that's been really good all year long, and you think Falmouth would want to be hungry to get a chance at dropping their first game of the season, but it's not going to come here in the 7th as Michael Curiali ends the inning with a pop-out to Joe Lampe out in center field. And so the Commodores go down in order 1, 2, 3 for the second straight inning. We move to the 8th, 6-2 Braves. Top of the 8th here, the Braves coming back to bat here in Falmouth with a 6-2 advantage. And trying to add to it, Tanner Schobel will lead things off, the 9-hitter, before we go back to the top of the lineup for the 5th time tonight. Schobel tonight 0 for 2 with a walk back in the 4th. And the first pitch from Yancek is in for ball 1. Matt, during that half inning, our fantastic public address announcer, Eric Jones, was talking about the different fast pitch speeds that kids here were able to throw during their outing out at the ballpark. What's the fastest you've ever been clocked at?
I don't know if I want to embarrass myself to our viewers, David.
All right, we'll keep it between you and I then.
I was never a velocity guy. I was accurate. I threw strikes. We'll leave it at that.
Count runs to 2-1 here on Schobel. How about anytime, whenever you'd go, whether minor league game, MLB game, collegiate, summer league game, whenever you went to an outing, did you ever, play some of those fast pitch games that that the promotions team would have set up?
Yeah, I've done that a couple of times. I don't remember the speed, though. Luckily, I don't remember. Gotta erase that from your memory as soon as it happens, but those are always fun.
Well, we've been out a few times throwing out in the yard, and I know you've been trying to throw some breaking balls. I don't know if they're the best breaking balls, but you've been trying.
I've been trying. It'll get there.
Practice makes perfect. For you, for the guys out on the field, for all of us. 2-2 here on Tanner Schobel as the pitch comes home, and he fans on it for the first out here in the 8th.
Yancek's breaking ball might have been a little bit better than the one I'm practicing.
Well, he's able to use it to get the first out here in the inning as we go back to the top of the lineup for Joe Lampe. That'd be a fun contest for us to do one day. Come out here, turn the radar gun, and just see who can, without blowing our arms out, see who can try and throw the fastest. I would not put my money on me.
My money's on our beat writer, Tommy Muma.
Is it?
Tommy's clapping his hands now.
Speaking of Tommy, if any of you fans out there follow the team closely, be sure to take a look at all of his work. Some fantastic writing, some fantastic features that he puts out on this team day in, day out, and just the best way to keep in touch with the Commodores when they're not actively playing is by reading his stuff. Count 1-1 here on Joe Lampe, the leadoff man, and it's now 2-1.
We need to have an intern batting practice of some kind at some point this season. I'd prefer that than throwing 50 miles an hour on the mound.
Well, I've been told that in years past, in non-COVID seasons, the intern batting practice would normally be part of the experience up here, as Armstrong able to take it himself for the second out of the inning, along with Fenway Day, the All-Star Game, things like that. But I always heard that the batting practice was always a staple of the intern experience.
That would be fun. Hopefully we can figure out a way to get that to happen this season.
You think you could hit one out here?
Another thing about embarrassing myself, never hit a home run. At
Really?
Little League, middle school, high school, never hit a home run. I was never strong enough, singles guy only, and I probably still am to this day.
Never even an inside the park home run?
Maybe, but a couple errors would have had to help me.
All
I was
right.
also very slow.
Well,
I had a good glove. That was about it.
Defense first. This one lined into the left center field gap, and that's going to fall down for Bourne's 11th base hit of the night. It comes off the bat of Christian Knapczyk. So he gets on with 2 outs here off of his 3rd base hit of the night.
The third baseman, number 31.
People have asked me why I want to go into and pursue a career like this, and I say I can't be on the field anymore, so why not be as close as I can to the action?
And we certainly get that, day in, day out, we're out on the field, especially you watching BP, interacting with the guys, and, really trying to get as close to the game as possible. I'll admit myself, I'd never be able to hit probably even a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, but it's cool to watch and get to know the guys who do. Max Anderson falls behind in the count 0-2. He steps up to the plate looking for his 3rd base hit of the ball game. Knapczyk leads off of first, and the pitch home now. Swing and a miss, and that's the inning for Andrew Yancic, as he faces 4 batters here in the inning, picks up a couple of strikeouts, and no damage done on the base path. So we move to the bottom of the 8th with the Commodores trailing by 4 here at home.
You ready? Hey!
Michael Sansone still on the mound here for Bourne as we move into the bottom half of the 8th. Falmouth coming back to bat and trailing by 4 here at home. Sansone's first outing this season was not a start, but he did go 4 innings in the win over Harwich, and here tonight out yet again for his 4th inning of work Anthony Hall starts things off by watching strike one come in at him. Hall on the night is just over 1 for 2. A single back in the third for Falmouth's first base hit of the ball game. And then he grounded out in the fifth. And that brings us to this point here as Falmouth has gone down in order 1, 2, 3 each of the last 2 innings. And then they've also faced the minimum, have the Braves, if you go all 4 of the last innings. Now 1 and 2 here on Hall.
The Commodores really, this season, we've seen them go through stretches where their offense just completely goes almost nowhere to be found. At one point against the Gateman.
And as you say it, crushes it out to right field, turning, looking, it's gone! Anthony Hall goes yard for his first extra base hit of the season. He puts it out into right field, and Falmouth back within 3 here as the broadcaster's jinx falls on Matt.
Home run,
Anthony's going to thank me later if he listens to what I just said. But finally, just getting out of that slump of 7 straight retired. I mean, I was going to talk about how 21 straight hitters were retired against Wareham, but just stretches like that is what keeps them out of games, and now almost back into it, still trailing by 3, but probably the longest home run we've seen in a while by this Commodores team.
First home run of the night from this Commodores team, and the first run's not scored in the 3rd inning as the first pitch to Cody Colden popped up on the third base side, and just over in foul territory, the new third baseman, Zach Agnos, who just came into the ball game, gets over and makes the catch for out number 1.
The ball always finds the new defensive player. Agnos comes in for Max Anderson after Anderson strikes out to end the top half of the 8th, and immediately the ball finds him. I just find that to be so interesting in this sport all the time.
Go to the top of the lineup, Luke Boyers, and hey, right back to the new guy, Zach Agnos across the diamond in time for out number 2. Matt, you're the broadcaster's jinx falling heavy on you here in the 8th.
It's intuition. Almost.
Right fielder, number 16, Jace Borfin.
Well, if Borfin here finds a way to hit it to Agnos, this will be some kind of inning. Not going to happen there. Falls behind 0-1. Borfin doesn't go opposite way, or doesn't go the opposite way too often. But maybe a little luck will fall here on the Commodores. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. Commodores trailing by 3, a score of 6-3 here over the league-leading Bourne Braves. And Borfin evens it up at 1-1. Oh, Andrew Corbett holding the ball right in front of the camera. Our first cameraman to catch a foul ball this season. And fortunately, the camera okay, too, as this one hit the opposite way, but not to the third baseman, as Braylon Wimmer out and left on to make the catch. And down go the Commodores in order 1, 2, 3. But after Anthony Hall goes yard for his first home run of the season, it's 6-3 Commodores. We go to the final frame. It's the 9th here at the Gov.
The Cape Cod Baseball League would like to welcome our new sponsor, Mosquito Marys, a locally owned
family-operated business that provides all-natural mosquito and tick control services. Call 866-ASK-MARY or go to mosquitomarys.com. Mention the Cape Cod Baseball League and get your first treatment
The ninth inning here from Gov Fuller Field, and Levi Wells on to finish things out here for Falmouth as he takes over for Andrew Yancic. Wells in for his third appearance of the season, and he comes in here with the Commodores trailing by 3, and the Braves coming to bat. And the first man that he'll face, Dalton Rushing, who's 1 for 4 on the night, but that one was a loud hit out to right center field, and they're a hard liner off his bat.
And that big slice brought to you by Supreme Pizza, located on T-Ticket Highway right here in Falmouth.
Bourne looking for its 8th victory of the season. According to the history checkers, the longest that a team has ever started a season without a loss, and granted, Bourne has tied up to this point in the season. They have 2 ties, but the longest a team has gone without recording a loss is 13 games. Katuitt did it in 13 wins. Katuitt did it in 2002, starting off the season 13-0-2 before dropping their 16th game. And if this scoreline holds, Bourne will be 8-0-2 to start the year. And Dalton Rushing goes down looking as Levi Wells with a breaking ball for the first out.
This team has just impressed every game that they've played. Come from behind. They had against Chatham to tie the game. Chatham is winning that game in the 9th inning, and Bourne ties it in the 9th to get the tie. Just things like that where they've come up big in spots where they need to, and then they start out hot early in both games against the Commodores.
Here's Caden Wallace, who takes strike 1. Falmouth will be back on the road tomorrow, playing up in Katuitt. Closest team here to the Gov. First meeting of the season between the Commodores and the Kettleers. And then we'll be right back here at home on Sunday, 4th of July. Hope you can make it out to the ballpark. Hopefully it's a bit warmer as well. But that'll be against Katuitt as well, 6 o'clock first pitch. And then the Commodores hit the road for 3 straight yet again. Their second and final time this season away from home for 3 straight games. At YD on July 5th, at Brewster on July 6th, and then on July 7th, the first game of the year up in Bourne. Here's the 1-2 delivery from Wells. Hit right up the middle. It's off of his foot. He can't find it. And so safe at first will be Caden Wallace. That's a tough play for the pitcher to make, and fortunately, it looks like Wells okay.
Well, he kept it in the infield by having it hit his foot. It just popped up and went away from him, and then he couldn't find it. And they'll check on him. They'll check the ball. Are we getting a sticky check? I don't know. Maybe.
I don't think that's quite reached the Cape Cod League. So Caden Wallace here on first. Colton Bender comes up now for the Braves. Bender 2 for 4 tonight with a couple of RBIs. And a late swing on the first pitch. You know, earlier when Andrew Yancic came off the mound after the 8th, or after the top of the 8th, the home plate umpire came over to him and started to talk to him for a minute, and that was actually the first thought that came into my head was it something about sticky stuff? And then I realized they were just joking about something because both were laughing coming off. But it's funny now how that pops into our head where, you know, a umpire goes to a pitcher and immediately we're thinking about, you know, the banned substances and all that.
It's just something that Major League Baseball has really brought to the attention of everybody now, and at least the past couple months, past 2 months really, making it required checks now on random pitchers, random checks to see if they're using anything foreign or illegal. But if you are in the baseball world, I would say a lot of pitchers that you talk to will tell you that they're using something, whether that's sweat and rosin to create a stickiness, but it's been a really big topic in the sport in the last couple weeks.
The other one I've often heard of, and I'm not, I never pitched and I have no experience on the mound, but the other one that I've often heard of is this ball is foul off the bat of Bender. The other one I've often heard about is using sunscreen and using sunscreen and rosin or sunscreen and sweat, trying to find some combination there to try and make the ball or try and make your grip a little stickier, and as a result, the ball have a little more control out of your hand. None of these teams play day games, so I don't know if any pitchers ever wear sunscreen, but that is one that I've also read about. And, of course, you're allowed to wear sunscreen on the mound. It's a whole new world. And there's another strikeout from Levi Wells. Now 2 gone here in the inning.
I'll tell you another one to use, because now with all the COVID regulations and everything, both dugouts here have Purell in the dugout. If you mix rosin and hand sanitizer, I think you'll get a pretty good a glue-like substance. Maybe put that at the edge of your glove or something.
Never even thought of that. Wow.
That's the new era, though, because of COVID.
Yeah.
You have to have the hand sanitizer in the dugout now.
I've never even considered that. That's wow, yeah. Well,
coming up with see, you could come up with anything really to make it happen.
Yeah. And then the other one we always use, and it's obviously not a legal substance, but we see guys sometimes reaching down to the dirt and trying to use that to help them. Runner here going as a high throw into Braden Taylor at second. He's able to come down with it, but not before applying the tag. So Caden Wallace in safely with another stolen base. Now 3 stolen bases tonight for Bourne. Colby Thomas here with 2 outs in the 9th. And before that, French going to go talk with his pitcher.
This Bourne team having all sorts of fun with the streak that they're on. Just been hearing shouts out of the dugout all game. And, I mean, nothing to really hang their head about all season so far.
You know, another group of guys that's having fun, they're broadcasters. They were telling us not that we aren't, but they were telling us pregame that they went on the air for 2 hours last night during their rain delay against Brewster and just started talking about whatever. They were talking about Marvel. They were talking about I don't even remember what else. They told us pregame, but that's another set of guys that is having a good time on the air. I think we have some good fun.
Winning is contagious. We do have fun, but winning is contagious, so it'll spread to anybody who's close to the team, and it'll just continue going.
Swing and a miss there, and Levi Wells gets all 3 outs this inning via the K. Is pretty dominant stuff there from the Texas Tech pitcher as he comes off the mound. And we go to the final frame here from Gov Fuller Field. The Commodores need 3 runs to tie this ballgame and a 4th to win it. We'll see if they can do it when we come back from Falmouth.
Fisher pose, grill it in. Work, hold on. It's me and my friends. Go, bud. Work, you know what I'm saying? Walk in, walk out, let's go. Work. Hey, walk it out. Walk it out. Work.
If you'd like a ball or any other piece of apparel,
Falmouth needs 3 runs to tie, 4 runs to win it here in the bottom of the 9th from Gov Fuller Field. And Eric Adler comes on for looking for his 3rd save of the season here for the Braves. Their closing pitcher on late in this ball game as he comes on for the 4th appearance of the season out of Wake Forest.
Has really jumped into this closer role for Bourne. Already 2 saves on the year. In another save situation now. Pitched on June 30th last in the tie against Harwich.
The second baseman
Has gone 1 full inning in all 3 of his outings so far this season, and looking to close it out for his 3rd save of the year against the Commodores now.
And he faces 3, 4, and 5, which normally you'd think that's a pretty tough out. But tonight, it's been quite the opposite. 4 and 5 are a combined 0 for 6. And then Braden Taylor here, the 3-hitter, is 1 for 2 on the night. So combined, a total 1 for 7 is this 3 through 5 part of the lineup. As Taylor watches strike 1 come in on him. Now 0-2 after a really late swing there from him. If you extend it even further, if you look 3 through 6, it's a combined 1 for 10 on the ball game, or 1 for 11, I should say. Here's the 0-2 delivery as it's popped foul out of play. A 95-mile-an-hour pitch there from Adler. Adler originally from Rockledge, Florida, and then he just finished up his freshman season at Wake Forest. Named a college baseball freshman All-American this past season. After 17 appearances out of the bullpen, he was Wake Forest closer. Another 0-2 delivery, just outside. Colton Bender, the catcher, thought that was strike 3, but it's ball 1. Had 6 saves this past season with Wake Forest, which is tied for the 5th most in the ACC by the end of the regular season. Now it's 2-2. Falmouth here in danger of dropping to 0-4-1 at home to start the season, combined with a 4-0-1 record on the road. A record that really makes you scratch your head. 2-2 here from the right-hander. It's run full. Taylor able to stay alive. Matt, I'll say one thing. More than anything, at least the rain, for the most part, held off this game. Had some mist early on, but the skies above, despite how gray they were and how gloomy they were, they ended up holding off to allow this game to get in and not have to force another cancellation.
On Wednesday, we saw probably the hottest night of the summer so far. I think tonight might take the cake for the coldest. It's 63 degrees right now. Low 60s at the start of first pitch as well. So, I mean, just weather conditions that aren't that comfortable for both sides tonight. But the rain has held up, which is a positive.
Adler picks up his 7th strikeout of the season as he fans Braden Taylor. Here's Chris Armstrong, 0 for 3 in his Commodores debut. Would love to pick up a late base hit here in the bottom of the 9th. Well, combined with the 63 degrees that it's outside, the wind has been pretty gusty all day long, and that certainly makes it even cooler out there. All the Bourne pitchers over in the bullpen standing up. Everyone here with a hoodie on. Trying to stay warm any way you can. Armstrong late on that delivery. And it's 0-2 now. Here's the 0-2 pitch. And Armstrong just able to get a piece to stay alive. I see looking in both dugouts and bullpens, everyone has a hoodie of some sort on for the most part. Some guys have the hood up, some guys don't. Are you a hood up or a hood down?
If it's windy and raining, I'd go hood up probably. But I don't know what it is doing right now outside. It's tough to see. I think it's misting.
I think you're right. Looking out towards the lights, it looks like.
Yeah, I'd probably go hood down in a situation like this.
Okay. This ball hit weakly over towards Adler as he comes off the mound, and a tight throwing angle, but he's able to get it. And there's now 2 outs here. The Commodores down to their final out.
Well, Adler's been just throwing as hard as anybody tonight on the mound. Mid-90s with the fastball. Taylor and Armstrong late on pretty much everything. Just a weak ground ball there from Armstrong, but that's the mentality to have as a closer. You know you're going 1 inning, empty the tank. I mean, the worst that this game can end in is a loss, obviously, or a tie, but to go for the win with a 3-run lead, you're not going into extra innings. You can empty the tank and throw as hard as you want in this 1 inning.
Another 95-mile-an-hour fastball there from Adler. That's the fastest. It's tied with the fastest we've seen his fastball tonight. Commodores haven't seen too many guys this season with high heat, such as this. This is up there among the highest that these batters have seen thus far, and he takes a lot off of it there with an 82-mile-an-hour breaking ball as the count runs even at 1-1. Reminder, Commodores are back at home on the 4th of July. Would love to see you out at the ballpark. Keeping our fingers crossed for a beautiful night here in Falmouth. Ducart now down to his final strike.
As of now, rain in the forecast for tomorrow and Sunday. And then if you look ahead to next week, which I don't know how accurate that is yet, but Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday all predicted with rain as well.
Keep our fingers crossed that that rain can hold off and we can get as many of these games in as possible.
I think the league is it's going to take a lot for the league to call games this year, more so than usual, because they won't be made up once they are canceled.
Ducart able to run the count full, and we said earlier, I can't speak for other ballparks, but this field here at the Gov drains amazingly well. Credit our outstanding groundskeeping crew here because we don't have a tarp to cover the whole infield, just the home plate area and the mound. But the field today looked gorgeous as Ducart able to reach there on a 2-out walk. Talking with the Bourne broadcasters earlier, they said their field not nearly as good at draining water, but like you were saying, Cape trying to get as many of these games in as possible. Bourne, each of the last few nights, they had an off day Tuesday, and then both Wednesday and Thursday had to deal with either lightning delays or rain delays during their contest. Ended up spending several hours just sitting around at the ballpark waiting for their games to get back underway. Had one cancellation thus far in the season. That was 10 days ago here against Wareham. Got through about 3 innings of play, and then the skies just really unloaded, and that was it for the contest. 0-1 to Jonathan French. Now it's 0-2. And once again, Commodores down to that final strike. Adler already with 1 strikeout here in the 9th. 7 total on the season. Looking for another one. The 0-2 delivery. Swing and a miss, and that's the ball game. Bourne improves to 8-0-2 on the season, picking up yet another road victory and another victory here against Falmouth as they win it tonight by a final of 6-3. Eric Adler gets the save, and that's the ball game here from the Gov.
Once again, quiet offense for the second straight time at home for this Commodores team. 2 runs on Wednesday and then 3 runs tonight, and Bourne continues to be the hottest team maybe in all of summer ball around the country. I have to look at that, but the hottest team in the Cape at least. staying undefeated on the year, 8-0-2. One of the most complete performances we've seen, again, from this team in terms of pitching and hitting, and the timely hits have been there for them all season and again tonight.
Connor Bovair gave the Commodores a good 5 innings in his start, struck out 7 total batters, but in the end, the 4 runs that he gave up just ended up being too much once again for this Commodores team.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about last start for Mitchell Stone, same thing. He gave up 5 runs, that was it. The bullpen tossed scoreless frames after that. That was on Wednesday, and 2 runs offensively was not enough to defeat the 5-2, or to win against Hyannis, who scored 5 in those first opening frames. Tonight, much of the same. 4 runs in the first 3 innings, 1 in the second, 3 in the third. After that, not much offense for Falmouth to try and compete with Bourne, and it's been that same story of giving up runs early, not coming out of the hole that they put themselves into.
So the Commodores dropped to 4-4-2 on the season and 0-4-1 here at the Gov. Another head-scratching loss at home for this team, but they'll try and win it again tomorrow. They're on the road at Katuitt with a 5 o'clock first pitch up at Lowell Park, and we hope to have you with us on the YouTube stream. Well, that'll do it for tonight's broadcast. For our director, Adriana Condro, our sideline reporter, Joanne Bethay, my broadcast partner, Matt Levine, and our entire crew here in Falmouth. So long from Gov Fuller Field. Tonight's final, Bourne 6, Falmouth 3, as Bourne improves to 8-0-2 on the season. Falmouth drops to 4-4-2, and that does it tonight from the Gov. We hope to have you with us tomorrow night up at Lowell Park, but until then, have a great rest of your Friday evening, and we'll catch you with us tomorrow night in Katuitt.